And welcome to the Metal Mixtape here on KSKQ's 89.5 FM Ashland, Oregon, 94.1 FM Medford, Oregon, streaming online on kskq.org. It's the boy, it's the Don, DJ Ramo. I am beyond honored to have metalcore royalty, all right? I'm 36 years old. When I started growing up listening to metal, Metallica was already 8 albums in. There was a whole new regime of metal coming out. I remember when metalcore just hit the scene, and this is one of the main lead singer powerhouses that started that off in the early 2000s with Haste the Day. We're here talking to Stephen Keech.
Yep. Hey, thank you for having me on, man. Dude, what an intro, dude. I didn't know that I was metalcore royalty. That rules.
Oh, dude, absolutely, man. You want to know, dude? It's like, okay, like we've gotten older. All of our favorite albums have turned like 20 years old. 25th.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the Ascendancy Poison tour. You know, every you know, we're getting up there. You know, like I'm a dad and all that, dude. I dyed my hair, but I'm white as hell, dude. but no, dude, like even you with Cities Burn and with Haste Today and everything, it's like, dude, that created like the whole genre of era we have now with like how strong deathcore is and like the Slaughter Prevails, the Lorna Shores and all these, like all these people wouldn't be possible with like what you're doing, dude. And especially not only and also what you're doing with like how beautiful of a singing voice, of course, that you have, man. But does it ever blow your mind that like that you've reached this age in your career, man, because you're already almost 30 years in or more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 39 years old. I joined Haste Today when I was 19, so I'm 20 years in.
Yeah, dude.
Pretty wild to like look back and see, where it's gone. That, you know, we just played with this band. Okay, sorry to jump right into a story, but we just played with this band. They're in their 20s, okay, and they're playing music that sounds like the music that I was listening to in my van driving to school in high school. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like they covered a Kill Switch Engage song. Like we're talking about kids they're in their 20s and they're doing this. Just like, this is just so surreal to me. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a trip. Like, okay, like, you know, like you're playing with all these bands, like these newer bands coming up and everything. And I'm sure you get a lot of questions like what was one of the biggest lessons you learned from just being a regular musician to being a musician like on tour? And I mean, you're playing with like Between the Bear and Me, Atreyu. You're playing all these festivals in Europe. You know what I mean? Like what is something that you had to learn personally to transition to the bigger part of the music industry, and also something you would tell a new musician coming in?
Yeah, don't take yourself too seriously. That was something that I wish I could go back sometimes and just tell myself, don't take it too seriously. Like, have fun. Like, it's okay to meet people. Like, the whole hierarchy of things isn't real. Like, you know, there are bands that are bigger and there are bands that are smaller, and they're all the same. Like, you're all the same. And just get along and meet people and have fun and make music that you genuinely care about, and don't care about what other people think of you, because that doesn't matter. Like, just make music that you care about and don't take yourself too seriously.
Dude, hey, that's a big lesson, man, because, you know, you work so hard on all these goals, whether it's like a show or a tour and its album, and then you work so hard just to get it done, and at the end of the day, you're just like, man, I'm like burnt out. Like, I should have had like more fun. Like, what was I doing with myself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't imagine like what do you think was your biggest lesson like vocally when you had to train, like, you know, cuz you picked up the mic in 2006 after the departure of 2005 of Brian. Like what was like when you get, I mean, you already, you know, you're doing that Cities Burn and all that, but when you're asked to fill in and to tour and all that, take us into what that looks like for somebody coming in and then being like, all right, you have to learn these songs. You have to learn kind of these cadences when we have this in our sets. Like in your mind, was that like a huge lesson for you, like a huge learning curve, or were you able to jump in?
I think I jumped in pretty quickly because I already knew the material. I was already a Haste Today fan, so I didn't know the words yet. So that was tricky. Was just like, you know, a lot of those songs, like, you know, they have similar rhythms. So I remember just like, okay, which song does this lyric belong to? Like, it's all kind of, um, but yeah, I jumped in pretty quick with Haste Today because I already had that experience of listening to the records. I already like saw them live so many times. I just love them as a band. So that was easy. The biggest lesson that I had to learn as a vocalist was when to give it your all and when to pull back. Because as a, extreme music, you're it's so emotional, it's so visceral, it's like a cathartic. You're putting all of this emotion into a live performance, but you also have to do it again tomorrow, and you have to do it again the next day, and you have to have stamina to be able to do that. So learning how to pull back my voice and get the same amount of emotion without damaging my voice was one of the biggest things that I had to learn early on.
I bet, dude, especially like when you're on stage and you're feeling it and you see somebody singing, you let that like I always say like having like a 1% like ego is really good on stage. Like be humble 99, but you have that little
Mm-hmm.
ego that sends that flair. And dude, I mean even we're gonna talk about Dissenter here in a little bit, but no, like just the emotion. I was even watching like your smaller performances with that Cities Burn, and it's all emotional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this whole album is driven emotionally. Like I could say that with every songs, with Shallows, Oblivion, with Adrift, like it's all emotionally driven. But dude, like I couldn't imagine doing like I think the biggest tour I've ever done. I've done a musician. I haven't done anything crazy like you. I think I did like a week, and like my throat was just like thrashed, dude. Like
Yeah.
have you ever had a show where like you were maybe afraid that you couldn't perform, but you did it anyways?
Uh, so I had lots of shows like that where I just pushed through and I did it. I would be sick or something. Every year I'd get bronchitis. I never got it outside of the band, but when I was on the road, I would get bronchitis every winter. And there was this one year where the doctor literally told me, he was like, "Look, you can't scream tonight. You just, if you do it, you're gone." It was on the Haste the Day farewell tour when we were breaking up in 2011. And he's like, it was St. Louis. And he was like, if you perform tonight, then you're not going to perform the rest of the tour. Like you're going to damage your voice. So I was like, okay. And so I went back and we were on tour at the time with The Chariot,
Mm-hmm.
My Children, My Bride, a Plea for Purging, and then there was a local on that show as well. And we asked all the other singers of the bands to learn a few of our songs and come up and perform them that night.
Yeah.
And so I stood side stage and just watched. Like I got to watch Josh Scoggin, who was one of my favorite vocalists of all time when I was growing up. I got to watch him, like he wrote our lyrics down on it, and he's just the coolest person, right? So he didn't learn a single rhythm of the entire song, like not a single thing. And he wrote the lyrics down on a piece of paper and he rolled it up like a scroll and he has it out in front of him and he's just reading the lyrics, screaming
Oh,
them into the
that's
microphone. Didn't get a single thing right, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
that's fun.
And
That's sick.
yeah, it was awesome. And then the next day, I felt better and I did the rest of the tour, and it was the one show I ever took off. But it was such a meaningful one. And even like the singer of the local band got to come up and do a couple of his favorite songs. So that was just a cool experience to watch other people do it and have fun. And the show was a blast still.
I love it. I love it. So, dude, obviously, like, we get older and, I try to do the same thing. I don't, you do it. I try. The scream and the singing and all that, which is pretty much the bread and butter of like metalcore, right? Now, as you're getting
Yeah.
older, like, dude, I've seen all my favorite bands do this, like with Atreyu, Avenged Sevenfold, Trivium, Killswitch Engage, All That Remains, Bullet, like how have you had to adjust your voice over the albums to now? Because I know a lot of people are like going down like a half step, maybe go down
Mhm.
a full step, a little easier for you to, I've seen that. I think Avenged Sevenfold did like Backcountry like a half step down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just so because I know Matt has had vocal surgeries and all that. Like especially entering like Dissenter, like knowing that like you have your fans from back in the day and they might want some similarities now. Because I know this album is very like atmospheric. I feel like it has like a lot more layers. Like even like metalcore is a very wall of noise a lot of the times, but definitely with the center, it feels like you guys it's more layered and more structurally like planned out. Like how have you had to adjust like your vocals entering the new album, knowing that like obviously we've changed if we gotten older and it does have to be different.
Yeah, I mean, well, our guitar player Dave jokes all the time about how I keep singing at the top of my range.
That's sick.
Even when like, and we keep down tuning. It's like we used to tune to drop C, and
Yep.
then we tune to drop B for a record, and then now everything is in either drop A or drop G sharp, and it's getting ridiculous. And they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna tune down so you don't have to sing so high." And then he always makes a joke that like, "Oh yeah, well hold my beer, watch this."
Oh
Like, and
God.
then I go really high, which is very true. But honestly, we do some of those like Attack of the Wolf King songs. We have to tune. We do all of those in B, so it's a half step down. And one of the songs we do in A, which is like a step and a half down, because it was so high for me, and so hard to hit. But uh, with this record, I mean, I had fun with the vocals. It took me a long time to find my scream again. Like, I mean, I'm 39. It's not, I can't just yell into a microphone anymore. It doesn't sound the same. It sounds like just, I couldn't get it to sound like I wanted it to. So I worked on it a lot. And then finally, I would do like 20 takes of a song. Also, I was producing my own vocals. So like I don't recommend that. Don't do that. It's really hard to do, especially if like you're critical of yourself. So at some point I was like, Dave, like I've been making music with Dave since high school, so like I feel really comfortable with him. I was like, dude, you have to fly out here and just be in the room while I'm recording. Like say, hey, that sucked, or that's cool. Like just tell me if I'm in my mind too
That's
much.
important.
So he came out and like we recorded. The first thing we recorded was the chorus for Oblivion, and that turned out so cool. And
Beautiful.
we had so much fun with that. And then there was a scream at the end of Oblivion, and that was like uh, I did that scream, and we were both like, "That's the thing I've been trying to do this whole record. I've been trying to make that sound." And I just found it, and we went back and we re-recorded all the songs, or most of the songs that I had done already, and
Wow.
with that kind of vocal style, and it just turned out so cool. It was exactly what I was looking for, and it just kind of clicked one day.
Dude, I couldn't imagine you getting the scream and being like, "Oh crap, I got the vocal memory down. All right, quick,
Yeah,
record it."
quick,
I swear, dude, I swear when you try to do screams, it could be like one little thing you change in your throat that will throw everything off.
Yeah.
It could be the difference with you projecting and hurting yourself.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's a really fine line
Yeah.
with screaming, especially if you're kind of in the fry scream
Yeah.
area, like because false chords are a little different. Like you can just kind of push through those, and it's more consistent. But with fry screaming, you like really have to get the exact right pocket of your voice for it to
Yeah.
be able to project, and so you don't get these weird like artifacts in your voice coming through. And like yeah, it's just I wanted a really emotional scream, and I wanted it to have a little bit of my voice in there
Mhm.
without being uh without like too gross sounding. So and I finally found it, and we went with that and just re-recorded everything.
Dude, hell yeah. No, hey, that's what you. I think that's so important. Like, I think a lesson for everybody. It's always good. Like, it's fine doing it all by yourself. But like you said, you become your biggest critic. It's so important to find somebody you can trust in anything you do in your life. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I swear, like I have a problem being stubborn sometime and not accepting help. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden I'm lost. I'm not happy with what I'm doing. Last time I went to band practice, like I literally went up to my bandmates. I was like, "Do you guys even like what I'm writing?" And they're like, "Yeah, we love it." I was like, "You guys don't ever tell me anything."
Yeah, you gotta tell me.
Yeah, I was like, I literally went and past like, "Do you guys even like the music?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, say something." You know, it's important, dude.
Yeah.
But dude, we're gonna get into the album because after the album, I got some metalcore history questions for you.
All right.
All right, all right, dude. The album, absolutely freaking sick, dude. Probably my favorite song on there is probably "Burn."
Sweet.
Yeah, I know "Shallows" and "Oblivion" are the singles, but dude, one of the things I took from this album is that like you guys are just so great at writing choruses and they're so beautiful, and just comparing it to the other ones, it's like I love seeing the maturity in the band done like in a great way because I still felt like you held old school elements with all your dude super metalcore textbook like really sick breakdowns, really sick drumming, everything was great, but I think when you guys went into your choruses and even like the build up where the scream into the violin section of Oblivion towards the end, it's like I felt like that's where you guys really showed the maturity of the band, where it really grew because not only were you adding extra layers to your breakdown, because you listen to old school metalcore albums from 2005, it's just noise,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And dude, it's like was that one of the things you guys really wanted to push on this album was like how driven these songs are by the choruses and not necessarily just metalcore riffing throughout the whole song, like because for me that's what I took from it. I was like, dude, I honestly thought you're a better singer now than you were 20 years ago.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a huge compliment. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, because I feel like you matured into your voice. It's like even though your bandmates are saying like, "Holy shit!" Like you're hitting your register at your highest, you can still sense the maturity in it. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Like
Thank you.
you like how we were talking earlier about like not straining yourself.
Yeah.
I can tell that you're instead of going like this a lot with your vocals, you're going like this a lot more.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great description of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I think when we started talking about the possibility of making new music,
Yeah.
we really wanted like the thing that we wanted to accomplish was creating the absolute best music we could make within the metalcore structure. So like the metalcore that we knew of, because like I know that like now metalcore kind of has a different vibe with like Sleep Token and Bad Omens and stuff like that, where it's like you can kind of have it's just a little different than it used to be. But we wanted to do like the metalcore that we were and are, but just like push it to the limit of like what we can do with it. So like um really focusing in on what is the best chorus we could possibly write. Like how do we make this the catchiest, most emotional, most like connecting music that we can,
Yep.
um, while it also just hitting really hard, really fast, and hitting all those boxes that make
Yep.
it the metalcore that we know of, And so, yeah, Burn was one of those. I mean, we had so many different renditions of that chorus. Me and Brennan and Mike were like sending like voice memos back and forth because they were in Indiana for a while. Brennan was in Cincinnati, and I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee. So like we're just sending ideas back and forth, and it just keeps getting refined and refined and refined until we land on what we think is like the most natural to sing, the most beautiful, and the catchiest thing. And the lyrics are super important too,
Mm-hmm.
as this record is it's a concept record from beginning to end. So that's a very delicate balance because
Can I say something really quick? Can I think what
yeah,
the concept is?
yeah,
I think the concept is like being lost in life and trying to find like kind of like your true path.
yeah. I mean, that's a big part of it.
A big
It's
part of it. Okay, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I can explain a little bit
Okay, go ahead.
more into that, but I think that that's very, very close. Or that is a theme in the album for sure. So yeah, we just would refine it and refine it, and yeah, oh yeah, there's a fine line with a concept album. You don't want the individual songs to be out of place in just like a normal listening environment. Like we want all of the songs to stand alone, like while also when you put them in the context of the larger story, they all make sense as well. So like Burn, Shallows, Oblivion, all of those songs you can pull something out of. They have themes that are relatable. The lyrics are straightforward enough to like, you know, to feel them in your everyday life. And then when you put them in the context of the story, they also make even more sense. So all of that was like, yeah, very, very intentional. And we really tried our hardest to make the best metalcore music we could possibly make.
Dude, I love it. The reason I'm looking down is because my favorite lyrics. I think it wasn't in my top four favorite songs, but my favorite lyrics was in Liminal.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's the because I was listening to the album. I was just like in my room picking up some stuff, and then that was the album where I heard I was really listening to the lyrics, and I was like, okay, yeah, like I feel that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I love that, man. And with concept albums, it is a little tricky.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And especially if you guys are trying to make each song be as an individual, that's even harder to do a concept album like that. Because
yeah.
I've listened to so many concept albums where it almost sounds like one whole song.
Uh-huh.
You know, but
And you're just like, it's kind of repeating, and you're just kind of like, okay, well,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard this before. Yeah,
Dude, but dude, I think that's so sick that, like, obviously you're coming back to Haste today, but it hasn't stopped you from performing at all. I see you out there crushing, playing music, and dude, like with Dissenter, I think you guys hit a home run. As far as like, I think that you guys matured structurally. I thought you guys matured with like your choruses and the lyrics, and it's more meaningful instead of doing like a rinse and repeat.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong doing rinse and repeat. I know a lot of bands that have like 10 albums that do the same thing over. It's all great, but
yep. And it works for
it
them,
works, yeah.
and yeah, they're doing great. But I
Dude,
just think we've never been able to do that. There always has to be some new goal or some direction that we want to go, to explore, because we get bored.
yeah,
We don't want to write the same record again. What's the point?
yeah.
Like, we want to see where else we can go. We want to see what other noises we can make, and expand our palette. And also, we all listen to such different music. Like, I mean, the majority of the music that I listen to is like instrumental, like minimalist composers, and a lot of people from Iceland, really.
I love it.
But like, I love that stuff, and when I'm able to take that and apply it to metalcore, it makes it a new thing. And then whenever like Scotty's able to take all the like cool shoegaze stuff that he listens to and bring that to the table, and Brennan's able to bring his voice to the table with like all of his influence, and it creates something new and opens a lot of doors musically that we can go through and explore and see what new sounds we can come up with as a band.
I love it. I love it. We have 4 minutes left. I'm gonna respect the other fellow journalists, so we're gonna not go in right to the some fun questions. Are you ready, Steven?
Okay. Yep.
All right, dude. You just kind of brought it up. So what is the artist you listen to that is furthest away from the style of music of your band? That's nobody from Iceland.
Oh, nobody from Iceland. Oh my gosh. Max Richter.
Max Richter. Okay.
Max Richter. Yep.
Like what kind of style is that?
Uh, Minimalist composer. It's he scores films, and it's beautiful. He just was nominated for an Oscar for Hamnet.
Oh, great movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
Love that movie. All right, dude. Who are your top three metalcore bands ever?
Top three metalcore bands. Okay, so let's say, and it's hard for me because I don't know if I would categorize them necessarily as metalcore,
It's all good.
but
I get it.
I'm gonna include some hardcore stuff in here as well. Zayo is at the top of that list for me.
Zayo.
Always, I've been a Zayo fan
Yep. I've seen
since
Zayo.
I was
They're
like
sick.
11. Like, I love that band. Let's see, that early Norma Jean stuff.
I love Norma. Yeah.
Blessed Martyr, Kiss the Child. Let's see, who else. Every Time I Die. I just loved Every Time I Die. And yeah, I don't know if any of those bands are necessarily metalcore, but
They
they
were
are.
they were
They
all
shaped me as a musician for sure.
yeah they were all they're all part of that scene. I agree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, who do you think's the best metalcore singer of all time besides yourself?
I would never pick myself. You know who I think is really great,
Who?
and he's a friend of mine. I'm lucky enough to know him, and he was on our record. Garrett Russell
Hell
from
yeah.
Silent Planet is just his ability to control his scream is just so cool. He's very talented and a cool guy. So
All
yeah,
right,
shout out to him.
if you can give a shout out to an up and coming new band that people might not know about, who is one band that's impressing you right now?
Um, Teeth. There's a band
Teeth.
called Teeth.
Oh yeah, I know
I
Teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, they're super cool. I hadn't heard of them until our drummer Giuseppe sent it to me when we started making music again, and it was just like, well, this band is heavy. Yeah, super cool.
I love it. I love it, dude. Steven, you have been a blast, dude. We're running out of time. Everybody, please go check out the album Dissenter, which came out May 1st. The singles Oblivion, Shallows are out right now, dude. Last but not least, can you say this is Steven Keech from Haste Today? You are listening to the Metal Mixtape.
This is Stephen Keech from Haste the Day, and you're listening to the Metal Mixtape.
Dude, you're freaking awesome, dude. This is going to air tomorrow on FM and then go all
Awesome.
over Instagram and stuff. So see my notifications.
Sweet. Yeah, collaborate with Haste the Day.
You got, dude. You got it. Much love, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
See you.